Good morning, guys, and welcome to our new series on community, man. I'm really excited about this series. We're going to spend the next couple weeks looking at what community is, right? Now, we explained the church as a community of believers with changed hearts that show Jesus to the world and proclaim his truth to the lost. Now, the church isn't a building. That's why I'm filming here. It's not a scheduled event either. Those are meetings of the church, which, if you get that, just for a second, it means that the church isn't a place, it's a people. When people think of First Baptist of the Islands, they should think of you guys, not a building on the corner of Johnny Mercer and Penwaller. So we're kind of in a weird place, though, when it comes to us meeting together regularly. You know, there's places in the U.S. where local governments are actively opposing church gatherings to the point they're actually threatening to cut off water and power to the church buildings. Thankfully, that's not where we're here at in Savannah, but it's happening in other places. It's still hard to feel like you're plugged into a community when you only have digital interactions with other people. A large portion of why we meet each week as a church is to encourage each other, right? Face to face and talk about what God's doing in our lives that week. If it was just about hearing someone teach, man, we could have saved the time and money by going digital years ago. But as you have probably felt just in the past couple months, there's this longing to be together in person, which is healthy, man. It's part of God's design for the fellowship of the church. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to look at what the Bible has to say about several aspects of living in community. This week in particular, we're going to focus on unity and what that really is. Now, too many people hear the word unity and they're turned off by it. For some people, they're turned off because they've been hurt by a lack of unity, right? They feel like we're being hypocritical when we talk about living in unity in the church. Others might not like the word because they feel like it means that everyone has to think and act the exact same, like a bunch of robots, devoid of free thought. That's not what unity is either. The way I understand unity best is through sports. Now, look at any team sport and I can show you unity. Soccer, of course, is my default, so let's hang out there for just a second. Unity on a soccer team means that you are all working towards the top level. That could be a state title, it could be a league title, it could be just beating your rivals. On that team, every single player is willing to do their part to get to the top, but they all do it in their own ways. A keeper isn't going to try to score all the goals for the team, it's just not their job. A full team of 11 has some mixture of a keeper, backs, midfielders, and forwards. They have different titles, they have different roles, they have positions on the field, so there's no way that they can all play the same, but instead they're all focused on that win, right? And that's what unity means. You embrace the different approaches as you all strive toward the same goal. When it comes to church, we need to find out what the goal is before we can discuss unity. What is the goal of the church? Is it to have the biggest building or the most people there each weekend? Is it to have the best worship band or the most mission trips sent out in a year? And those are great, but none of them are the goal of the church. The goal of the church can be found in the words of Jesus in Matthew 28. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. So church services can look as many different ways as you can possibly imagine, as long as they are still pursuing the call to make disciples that Jesus left with us in Matthew 28. It's really that easy. From mega churches down to home churches, they can all be in unity, even though they go about ministry in so many different ways. Let's look a little more at what unity looks like practically tonight. Let's start with the passage we find in 1 Corinthians. Now, Paul wrote this letter to a church that he had a heart for, right? He wrote 2 letters that we have, and possibly even a third that we don't have. Now, there was a lot of division in the church in Corinth, and it was reflecting poorly on Jesus, and it was hindering the work of the church. And Paul addresses that division in chapter 3. So let's read what he says to the church. It says, "But I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh, as infants in Christ. I fed you with milk, not solid food, for you're not ready for it. And even now you're not ready, for you are still of the flesh. For while there's jealousy and strife among you, are you not of the flesh and behaving only in a human way? For when one says, I follow Paul, and another says, I follow Apollos, are you not being merely human? What then is Apollos? What is Paul? Servants through whom you believed as the Lord assigned to each. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything, but only God who gives the growth. He who plants and he who waters are one, and each will receive his wages according to his labor. For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field, God's building. Paul was bummed because he had hoped the church in Corinth was going to be farther along than they were at this point. And instead of growing into maturity, man, they were all still stuck in this baby faith. And the thing that kept them there was their internal division. The church was arguing over which of the teachers they were going to follow. Some followed Paul, some followed Apollos. And because they were so focused on the lines that they had drawn between each other, that neither side was focusing on Jesus like they were supposed to. Paul had enough, and he called them out on this division. He helps them to refocus on God and the fact that he's the priority in church, man, not us. What does that look like for us today? That looks like churches that are split over non-salvation-based topics, man. Churches today, they can be split over worship style, over ministry directions, over mission trips, over which convention to support. Even more dangerous are things like politics and even sports teams. You know, just as an example, the church I grew up in, North Myrtle, man, it had a clear split between USC fans and Clemson fans. The Sunday after that Clemson-USC game would always be a poorly attended Sunday because the team that lost, like, their fans just wouldn't come. And now, that was just one Sunday a year, right? Normally, both sides, man, we work together for the ministry, but one Sunday out of 52 lost over a sports team was too much. Unity is where we are called to over and over in the Bible, and we need to preserve that unity with whatever sacrifice is necessary of our own preferences. For you guys as students, there are always going to be rivalries in schools, and man, those are a blast, right? But they can be taken too far. It's fine to pull for your school team, but if you ever start to think that you're better for your school or someone is less because of their school, guys, you have crossed over into a dangerous line of thought. God is not honored by that kind of thinking. Please, 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 recognize that and then turn away from that when we see it. Before we end tonight, why is unity so important? You know, of course, the easy answer is so there's no drama. Nobody, let me say that again, nobody likes drama. When we're living in unity with others, there's not going to be the drama that we expect. We'll have our own directions and our own approaches, but when we're all headed in the same direction, we're just not going to see that drama pop up like it does a lot of times. But that's not the only reason we strive for unity. In the Gospel of John, Jesus is praying over the disciples, and then he prays over those who are going to come to faith through the disciples. That means you and me. Did you know that Jesus, over 2,000 years ago, prayed for you specifically? And we have a record of it all along. Turn with me to John 17:20. Let's read that. It says, I did not ask for these only, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they may also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given to them, that they may be one even as we are one, I and them and you and me, that they may become perfectly one, so that the world may know that you sent me and loved them even as you loved me. The reason Jesus wants us to live in unity, the reason Paul had such a burden for unity in the Corinthian church, and the reason that we need to strive for unity today is that the world is going to see God's love through our unity. When the lost world looks at the church, what do they see? Do they see a group of people that are loving each other and striving for the same goal? Or do they see people like bickering with each other? Divisions, arguments, and drama, they're not appealing at all. And nobody would want to be part of that by choice. So when the world sees a church that's divided, they're turned off to church and ultimately who it represents, which is God. And that is exactly what our enemy wants. Lost people ignoring their need for God. Guys, we cannot let division in our church help out the enemy. That is 100% the wrong direction. So what are some practical ways to live out unity? First, we need to evaluate our stances carefully. Now, if we disagree with someone in the church, we need to ask if it's a theological issue or a preference issue. We also need to be sure that we don't blur that line to make ourselves feel better. Theological issues are things like denying the divinity of Jesus, or adding something other than faith to how we're saved. Preference issues are things like worship style or even political things that oftentimes work their way into church life. For theological issues, it's okay to separate ourselves from those who are going against God's word. For preference issues, though, we have to agree to disagree on those matters and focus on the most important mission that we have to make disciples. Unity is a singleness of purpose, not a singleness of personality. Guys, next week, we're going to look at how to overcome divisions that have already popped up in the church, right? They're there, we know that, but we want to address those. So I hope you guys have a great week this week with school starting up. Know that we're praying for your safety, for your health, and for your unity as the church. Guys, I can't wait to see you real soon.